here in the audience might know me. My name is Kristina, I go to the same school as you, and I come from Bulgaria. But is this really who I am? Now, my question is actually a trap. Because no matter what your response was, it was wrong. Because what is the criteria of I? Or what is the criteria of am? Or for our existence in general? Now, our existence and the meaning of it are two very subjective topics. And usually, when one gets asked such questions, they would name the things they identify with. My name is, I go to, I have, but these are all just things you identify with. As we can also tell, you have a body. You, however, just happen to have one. You, in fact, are not a body. You also, surprisingly, not your ambitions, nor your dreams, or your possessions and your past. You are just the one who makes those things happen. But if we're none of these things, how do we know we exist? And why would it matter, after all, whether we know it, and if we do? Well, a long time ago, and I mean a long time ago, Descartes has said, cogito ergo sum, or I think, therefore I am, which you might have heard a lot of times. And maybe to be a human means to think on the topic of thought. But as Descartes would argue, I can be certain I exist, right? I'm here sharing some crazy ideas, and I'm sharing my thought process as well, so there must be something that thinks. But in actuality, we must be a lot more than just our thoughts, don't you think? And if we're none of what I mentioned already, many would argue that we are our consciousness. You need to have a consciousness in order to think. But you in fact do not need to think in order to be conscious. But what is that? We can say, now as this is a controversial definition of course, we can say that our consciousness is to a great extent our unique thoughts, experiences, and everything we base our opinions on. But what if I tell you that many of you, of everybody that we see here in this audience, do not have their own consciousness? And you might be thinking, how can I not have my own consciousness? No, that's weird. Whose else could it be if it's not mine? Well, the self can only develop in an interaction with other conscious individuals. We and our personalities get constructed and reconstructed with each social interaction that we have and with each individual that we meet. Therefore, we can truly exist only in a relation to other thoughts and minds shaped based on certain similarities, sharing common goals, ambitions, and ideas. Think of this. I'm here sharing some crazy ideas in a language that is not my mother tongue. And this is all just a product of all the situations in which I have found myself and all the people that I have met. And I probably would never, in fact, have learned the English language to this extent if it wasn't for that one girl in my first grade English class, who in fact knew more than I did. And that instantly made me think that I have to catch up. Existing is plagiarism. Now, to a certain extent, it might not be something we necessarily plagiarize, but rather just paraphrase, in the sense that we are nothing more than what we manage to get out of the society that is introduced to us, and emulate what we find positive or what we sympathize with. And this can, however, lead to the cause of the lack of personal awareness. And think of this. We all sometimes need to follow the rules of a social group in order to be accepted by its members. We all go to school where we wear uniform. We follow certain values and obey given rules. And to a good extent, we do foster the sense of a community and belonging. However, we can start lacking personal otherness. Moreover, we are the ones who actually affect our society. Later on, this society reflects on us. So we get into that constant cycle of influences that if we were to lose our uniqueness, would just turn our society in a soulless, dull pool of potentiality, which happens when we are at our lowest state of existence. And this is a consequence of not being in an interaction with other unique individuals that all have different ideas and thoughts. But why did I just tell you all of this? Well, we managed to conclude that we are not that unique after all, even if you hope that you are. So, the next time that you face a choice which will affect the society which you vastly represent and all of the factors of it that get passed on to you, because this turns you into a sort of miniature for all of them, think consciously. Because who else would you be in a society which constantly puts influences and expectations on you? And would you not want a life and a mind that are truly authentic, self-made, and actually yours? Tonight, you often heard the phrase, who, if not us? But do you ask yourself, who, if not you? Thank you.